I'm pretty good at quoting random things, and I've probably got a meme or a YouTube video for about everything that you say. And our man Potty over here, we had our offsite last week, and it was probably his second week being here, and he was just in stitches.
Potty is trying to just
Hold it together.
He's struggling.
And there's serious range to it as well.
There's range, yeah, you got range.
There was the Grinch got into there a bit.
Hello!
The Big Lebowski.
I'm the dude.
They're like niche memes that from 2000, like Britney Spears videos, like fan videos.
Britney's
like
got
that.
always been.
Yeah, Britney's always been.
Hey there, I'm Phil Thompson from Skye, and today I am doing an interview with one of our team members. We've got Trent Bacon here. Thanks for joining me, Trent.
No, thanks for having me.
All right, Trent, what is your role here at Skye?
I'm our head of advice. So
what does that mean?
What does that entail?
So head of the snake? What are we talking about?
Fancy way of saying leading the advice team. So looking after the advisors and anything that goes into an advice document that gets presented to a client. So making sure that we're delivering advice that we're happy with in a way that clients are engaging with, and making sure that everything ticks along nicely.
Cool. And what areas of the business are reporting into you? Are you looking after?
Yeah, so we've got the advisors, the power planning team, and that's about it at the moment. So there's still a fair few members in that team.
Yeah, cool. And what were you doing before you joined Skye? Actually, how long have you been at Skye?
It's about a month away from being 4 years. So yeah, one of the eldest statesmen. So hot tip, if you ever want to find out who the eldest statesmen are in the office, is search out our emails. Yeah. You'll see the single name. So the single name's Trent at Skye compared to the Trent Bacon at Skye is the people who have been here for a lot longer.
Yeah, true. I've got Phil at Skye. So I've got I got 12 characters or something to get my email address. So I'm a big fan of my email address. But yeah, you're one of the OGs. And what were you doing before Skye?
I was doing holistic advice at a different firm. I was there for 3 or 4 years. Before that, I did one of the, what do you call it, academies out of uni to become a financial advisor. And before that, I was doing university.
Okay. And talk to me about the interview process. And I'll give you my story on it after you tell me about your story.
The interview process, I think the main point you're going to say is I think I turned you down at one point.
Well, you didn't turn me down, actually. I offered you the job, and then you said, okay, thank you for the offer. Leave it with me. I've got an interview. And I was like, this young whippersnapper still going for another interview when I've offered him a job.
I think I was pretty honest. I think I went to that interview, and I won't name names who it is, but it didn't go the way I wanted it to. So came crawling back.
No, it didn't come crawling back. You just said, thank you for giving me time.
Yep.
I'll accept the offer.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history. All right. And why did you decide to go from holistic to insurance only?
It was kind of out of need. When I left my previous job, I actually wanted a big holiday, and I come back and I was going to start another job, and that job didn't exist when I got back. So what was I?
What's your lesson there? Maybe get it in writing, get a signed contract.
Get it in writing, make sure it was all good. But all in all, it's been really good because I've landed where I am now, and I wouldn't be where I am now if that didn't happen. I really did want to go back into holistic advice, but I've certainly found a home at risk only, and I can't see myself going back to holistic from here.
All right. What's one of the best things about being at Skye?
I get to be a clown every day, pretty much. So I've got a costume box here with lots of different hats. One of my memories, I think it was like your first week here. Do you remember what presentation you did for the whole team? It was like week 1 or 2. Yeah? No, I don't. I probably remember if you tell me.
So what you did, week 1 or 2. And the team was small, much smaller than we are today.
I think it was 6 when I started.
So you were getting new glasses, reading glasses.
And so that wasn't early, but that was probably a year in. So
No, that was much earlier. I can guarantee you.
Was it?
I can guarantee it was so early because I was like, this guy fits the business well. Anyway, so you did a PowerPoint presentation of Ryan Gosling photos of him with glasses on and different style of glasses.
Yeah, I do remember. I think I had a red pair of glasses, like the Dame Edna's, and then I had the clear ones that I ended up with. There was like a dark frame, and then the announcement was I was getting glasses because I'd never had them before.
So you were doing this big PowerPoint presentation that was absolutely clown worthy. And it was one of the first few weeks I remember. And I was like, all right, this guy fits the business well.
Yeah, that was when every Wednesday we used to catch up on Wednesday morning because we're fully remote at that
Yeah.
point. So no one really knew each other. It's like, all right, you've got to come with a story, what you've been up to or something new. So I was like, you know what? PowerPoint presentation it is.
Yeah, I remember it. So tell me about one of the worst things about Skye. Let's dish the dirt. People have been way too kind on these interviews, but no one's saying anything too bad.
Worst thing probably Seb found out last week. He was the only one in the office all week and he ended up working from home. So sometimes it can get a bit lonely if you don't come to the office, and most of our staff are in the office. I think we've got 7 or 8 that will come in regularly, but even half of those will only come in 1 or 2 days a week. So yeah, previously I was probably until a year ago, I was fully remote as well. So some days got pretty lonely digging through emails, dealing with client situations that might be a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably a bit lonely, but now I'm back in the office for the most part when I'm in the state and in the country. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, cool. And talking about who's your favorite team member? Not me, because we all know it's going to be me, but who's your favorite team member?
Who's my favorite team
Yeah.
member? Jara. Jara is my favorite team member. And the reason why Jara is my favorite team member is in the interview process, Jara refused to not call me sir. And I was like, Jara, you don't need to call me sir. I reckon 3 times the interview, and she just kept going with it. And to the point where we hired her, and then she realized that no one needs to be called sir around here, especially this clown.
Especially you, definitely not a sir. All right, what's one thing that you kind of didn't expect as much after joining Skye? And you've been here for a long time, but what's something that you didn't expect as much?
Yeah, I didn't expect so many things to change all the time in terms of the advice. Like every advisor that you speak to goes, oh, risk only. Surely you get a bit bored, but there is so much more nuance to risk advice than someone's superannuation, their investments, their retirement planning. There's lots of different things that you take a lot more time in if you're just doing the risk advice. So what previously you do an hour advice meeting and you spend 10 minutes on the insurance. Here's your insurance. Here's what it's going to cost. Good. Goodbye. Where now it's a whole hour meeting of going through these are the features and why it's important to you. These are the different levers you can pull, and making sure that it's all tailored to a client.
Yeah, and it is much more complex when it comes to giving advice than I ever thought about. And I think because, when you're doing everything, you've just got to half bake everything, because you just can't fully geek out on any one thing, and it's got to be good enough. And we don't have that philosophy of good enough. It's got to be great. And so, yeah, it is something that I underappreciated before we went insurance only as well. You said you were here when we had 6 people. Now we're almost up to, we'll be 50 next week when we've got new team members. What are some of the kind of biggest changes, culturally or just from a workflow point of view over that period of time?
I'm pretty good with knowing people's names, but I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know instantaneously where people are doing or what people are doing and exactly who they report to. I know there's a few people in our team that are very bad at it, but I think we're now getting to that point where I need to take more time to figure out exactly who does what and when. Yeah, when we were 6 people, we could talk to everyone in a Teams meeting, and now there's 50 people sometimes. You just can't get around to everyone. So trying to make some time to make sure you understand who people are and what their purpose is.
Yeah, me and Potty over there, we were having a chat with one of our other team leads and I asked a question what's one of the challenges about leading people? And she said them being engaged in what's important to them is good and what we want to do, but it's hard to keep remembering when someone who you're leading tells you about something maybe much more important to them than it is to me. And so it's but you got to really put the energy and effort into engaging in that. And I've slowly starting to I write down heaps of notes about new team members when we meet new team members, and I'm gonna put them on my own Notion card so I can search them. What are some fun facts about everyone in the business? Because it is getting harder. I agree with that. Trent, what's some interesting fact about yourself or interesting hobby that you do?
I'm pretty good at quoting random things, and I've probably got a meme or a YouTube video for about everything that you say. And our man Potty over here, we had our offsite last week, and it was probably his 2nd week being here, and he was just in stitches or just shocked at the amount of garbage that was coming out of my mouth just to link it back into it.
It's true. It is intense. I appreciate it now with Potty who's trying to just
Hold it
crack
together.
He's struggling.
And there's serious range to it as well.
There's range. Yeah, you got range.
There was the Grinch got into there a bit, the Big Lebowski, they're like niche memes that from 2000, like Britney Spears videos, like fan videos. And
Britney's
things like
got to
that.
always be there.
Yeah,
for
Britney's
you.
always got to be there.
Actually, the last question before we finish up: what's your favorite song?
My favorite song is "Toxic" by Britney Spears.
And it's the go-to. One of my favorite things is your go-to when we do karaoke.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's got to be at least sung at least once.
And the dancing as well. It's not just the singing, it's the dancing as well that I appreciate.
It's the full show. I'm not a good dancer. These hips are not Shakira. These hips do be lying.
Yeah. Hey, Trent, thanks for joining. Appreciate you coming on and letting me interview.
No, thanks for being here.